Welcome to Good Morning Akron, everyone. I'm your host, Sarah. Today I get to talk with Keith Collins II. Keith, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am good. Keith is a filmpreneur. We are going with a new word, and we're putting filmmaker and entrepreneur together. That is what you are, because you have quite a resume. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this kind of work.
I was raised in Cleveland.
Moved here when you were 1.
Yeah, moved here when I was 1 from Chester, PA.
Okay.
And I was taught martial arts growing up through my father. My father is a 5th degree black belt, and he trained me in a multitude of, martial arts, but mainly Kempo.
Okay.
And, growing up, I was just watching movies.
Yeah. Movies with martial arts.
Yeah, martial art movies, action movies. So, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan.
There's so many good ones, yes.
Right.
Especially from that kind of time period. I feel like that was more common.
When you're a kid watching those type of movies, your imagination, you're like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And most kids want to be something that's not necessarily a job, and I wanted to be a ninja.
Of course you did.
But, watching movies, it was something saying, hey, I can be a ninja if I'm in movies.
You can. I love that you thought that. Like, hey, I actually could do this for real.
So that's how I, wanted to do movies, and I always wanted to do movies. And I got my chance to do movies starting with stunts.
Right. So you have, you've done a lot of stunts and a lot of fight choreography.
Yeah.
So share with us a little bit about that part of your story.
I had, taught martial arts with my father, and I had a friend who was doing a movie, and it was an action movie, and he goes, hey, do you think you can make the fights? And I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. So that, pushed me right in there, because when I was a teenager, I made fights and filmed them on,
of course,
my camera,
Yeah.
And so it was like, yeah, I can do that. And I ended up making fights for a fan film for a video game called Hitman.
Okay.
And it was called Contract Redemptions. And that was sort of like my foot into making, fight scenes for other filmmakers. So I ended up working with Johnny Wu, a filmmaker in Cleveland.
Who we had on the show.
Yeah.
So you can watch his interview as well.
And I did a lot of fights for him. I'm typically his fight choreographer for most of his films.
Great.
And other people who have, needed fights for their films, I've done those fights as well. And also stunts. So
tell us some of the films that you have done the fight choreography for.
A lot of Johnny's catalog, of course.
Right.
So there's Wuxia 2, Wuxia, Wu Lin, which is also called Immortal Kombat on Tubi. And then through doing those films, I had a chance to make my own feature, which is called Assassin's Game.
Right.
Which is also on Tubi. And,
which is amazing. So did you also direct that as well?
I directed. That was my directorial debut in a feature film.
Wonderful. Share a little bit about that movie then.
That movie was a lot of work in a short amount of time.
I believe it. That's what I've heard basically filmmaking is. You got to shove all this work into 2 weeks or whatever.
What did we do? We finished it in 11 days.
11 days, okay.
Which was, a feat for an action
Very
movie.
impressive.
It took some time. I mean, a lot of it was pre-production, and how I ran it was sort of like a play. We rehearsed a lot of the, fights and stunts first.
Right.
So that when we got on set, we could just sort of
do
fly.
It and go.
And that's sort of what happened. It was a very, fun, generally smooth experience. I mean, we had a couple hiccups, but those hiccups were minor.
So people can watch that where?
Tubi.
It's
Assassin's
Game.
Yes.
Great. All right, so we want to share a little bit about, you have a streaming service. That's why we called you Filmpreneur, because you're also an entrepreneur, and you are starting a streaming service. Share with us about that.
Yes, 3digitalrocktheater.tv. It is a streaming service that dares to be different. We want to have action, horror, and comedy all sort of in one place.
Okay.
And we just want to promote entertaining, indie films. There's a lot of indie films out there that have, those entertaining qualities and just don't have a home. So we wanted to sort of provide that home for them.
Yeah, I think that's really important because it is true. A lot of these larger streaming services aren't going to pick up the indie films, and they do need a home. They need a place that people can go and watch them and support local film. Yeah, absolutely.
The beautiful thing about it is national. We do have filmmakers from all over the country that's actually on the platform.
Okay.
And like I said, we're just trying to like promote and create that, cultivate that environment for the filmmakers and those fans who are looking for that different thing to watch. That's not necessarily Hollywood, but entertaining.
So is it already launched? So if someone goes to that website, they can find films there.
It is already launched.
Already
There's
launched.
Films, and even we have our first web series there called. Oh my! Why did it slip my mind? Dawn.
Okay.
And it's about a vampire trying to reclaim her soul.
Ah, okay.
So
nice.
It's a lot of different on on the
so
site.
Something for everyone. Go ahead and share the website one more time.
That is 3digitalrocktheater.tv.
Okay, perfect. And then you actually are creating a show as well, right?
Yes.
So share with us about that. That's coming in the spring.
Yes, Savior, which is sort of a Power Rangers esque show. And
that's fun.
It's
Everyone loves Power Rangers.
Right,
so
right.
I think it's going to be pretty cool.
And it's about an interdimensional being coming to save the Earth, but nobody believes that he's there to save them. So
what do they think he's there? Do they think he's there to destroy them?
Well, they don't believe he's an interdimensional being. They don't believe that there's this big invasion that's going to happen. And he's like, yeah, it's going to happen, and I'm actually here to stop it from happening.
And no one believes him.
Right.
So he has to talk them into it.
So through fights and experience, like where they're seeing like, okay, this might be real.
Right.
That's where, he begins to prove himself, and some people still don't believe, so it's just...
So you're filming that now?
Yes.
And that will, when will people be able to watch it?
We're hoping in April, and it will be on 3digitalrocktheater.tv.
Great. That's awesome. All right, what's next for you?
Actually...
Anything down the docket other than the show? I'm sure that's enough. But
I have a feature film that I finished, and I'm actually pushing that one out to the public soon, called Rumble TV.
Okay.
That one is on our streaming service right now, but it will be going to other streaming services soon. So I can't wait for people to see that one.
Give a 15-second version of what that's about.
It is about a gentleman on a reality show where he has to win. Or he gets challenged to multiple fights, and he has to pretty much win them all by the end of the season to win $30 million.
Oh my gosh.
And anyone who beats him gets that $30 million. So he's like a marked man.
So he has to win all of them so he can get the money.
Yes. So it's a very different martial arts comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a comedy as well?
Yes, it is a comedy.
That's fun. Well, very nice. I love all that you're doing. It just seems like you're totally a filmpreneur. We're making a new word because you're doing a little bit of everything, sticking your foot in a little bit of everything, and lots of great stuff coming up. So go ahead and share with our audience your website one more time, and then all your social media so they can find you.
So you can check out all of these different movies on 3digitalrock. Theater.tv, and you can find me on Instagram with @KeiKoII, that's KeiCoii, on Instagram.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, Keith.
All right.
It was great having you on the show.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, share some words of wisdom to our young viewers who might want to get into filmmaking, maybe even what you do, choreographing fight scenes in movies. Give some words of wisdom.
The words of wisdom would be, don't wait, just do it. There's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a better time than now.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's actually kind of a common thread, but it's so important. It's especially for kids who are wanting to do something but they're unsure. It's just start making stuff.
And
start doing it.
That's always a hard thing.
Yep.
You're waiting for it to be perfect, but it'll never be.
There's no perfect time, and you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
All right. I love that. Go for it. Just go for it. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We had a great morning here on Good Morning Akron. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got more great stuff coming up next.